Good afternoon, Madam Clerk. Are those two notifications a sign that we're all set to begin?
Madam Chair. Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to convene this meeting of the Government Administration and Elections Committee. And the first item on our agenda is remarks. Representative Fox, do you have any welcoming remarks?
Hey, Madam Chair, I want to welcome everyone to the GAE committee this session. Look forward to working with everyone and have another productive session working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Senator Sampson, do you have any welcoming remarks?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Madam Chairman. Delighted to participate in the first GAE committee meeting of the 2022 session. Nice to see so many friendly faces on the screen today. You know, I long for us to be back in the building, having these meetings in person. Though I do appreciate the opportunity that Zoom affords us to let many more people visit and participate. And hopefully someday maybe we can come up with a solution that allows both in-person meetings and people to participate by Zoom. I'm just going to ask a favor right now. I think this is the appropriate time to do it, which is that when we go through section 3 today, what we've talked about on the Republican side is that we would be inclined to have voice votes on the majority of these items. So if we just went one by one, we can vote them as we go, up or down on a voice vote. There are a couple of items that I would ask for a roll call, and I will let you know when that happens. And I look forward to a productive meeting. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator. So just to clarify, you'd like an individual voice vote on every item under section 3, and you will make a motion for a roll call vote on some of the 24 items?
That is correct. We did not have a chance to caucus beforehand, and I think it's appropriate for the members to at least have some basic understanding about which one of these items, what they actually mean. Since they're just concepts, I'm not asking for a long dissertation, but if you just say, you know, an act designating various days, weeks, and months is the bill we do every year that designates weeks and months. I think that would be satisfactory. And rather than trying to build a consent calendar, not knowing what's going to be a roll call versus not, I think we can do up and down votes by voice pretty quickly and get through this agenda. And just, you know, for anything that develops into a roll call based on the understanding of what the language is, we would tackle those that way. I hope that's amenable to you, Madam Chairman.
Yes, it is. I'll just clarify that there isn't any language yet, but happy to do it that way. Thank you. Thank you very much. Representative Mastro Francesco, do you have any welcoming remarks?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. Looking forward to a robust committee meetings this year like we always have. And I concur with Senator Sampson on taking the voice votes. But yes, there are a few that we would like a roll call on. But looking forward to a good meeting. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay. So moving on to item number 3 on our agenda, concepts to be raised. The first item on our agenda is acts designating various days, weeks, and months. This is a bill we do every year where we take many of the requests we've gotten from individual legislators and combine them into one bill, recognizing various entities, causes, other issues in this bill for particular days, weeks, and months as the bill suggests. Is there a motion to raise item number 1?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Representative Fox, seconded by Representative Thomas to raise item number 1. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Oh, all those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Next, item number 2, an act implementing the recommendations of the auditors of public accounts. The concept here is exactly what it suggests, and it comes to us from the auditors of public accounts. Is there any discussion? Excuse me, is there a motion to raise this concept?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been raised by Representative Fox, seconded by Representative McCarthy. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of raising item number 2 as raising the concept under item number 2, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Item number 3. I would entertain a motion to raise item number 3 and act concerning absentee ballot voting.
So moved.
Second, Santiago.
Second.
Motion has been made by Representative Palm, seconded by Representative Santiago. Item number 3 will likely be the place where we contemplate changes to the absentee ballot laws.
So move.
No, motion has been made. Is there any discussion?
Oh,
Oh, Senator Sampson.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Sorry about that. I did have my hand up. I guess we got to get back into the swing of the digital hands. There's been a lot of commentary in the press lately about bringing back a particular item that we had from last year. Is this item on our agenda, this concept, supposed to be the item that's going to bring back some language similar to what was once House Bill 6205 from last cycle?
Senator Sampson, I don't know the answer to that question. I know that this proposal will make a change to our absentee ballot voting statutes. I cannot say whether it'll be the language in 6205 at this point. I don't mean to be evasive. I just genuinely don't know. But it will be, just to be clear, because I think there's interest in not necessarily supporting having that conversation this year by some members of the committee. This is in all likelihood the vehicle for that conversation. It is the vehicle for that conversation. And so if you're opposed to us having that conversation, you're likely opposed to item number 3 even being raised.
Well, I appreciate that, Madam Chairman. It's very difficult to vote on concepts as it is sometimes because we don't know what the language is going to evolve into. And it almost to me loses its purpose. We could just, an act concerning a bill, is a concept. An act concerning absentee voting is pretty vague. I had some comments regarding that language from last year, not to draw this hearing out, but I do believe that that is such a contentious issue. The notion of modifying our absentee ballot laws to allow for another mass mailing election. Is there any indication that this bill is the vehicle for that type of policy where we're going to redefine the word illness as it appears in our Constitution so that we can have an election similar to 2020 when the Secretary of State mailed out absentee ballots to the entire voter rolls across the state?
Senator Sampson, in response to your question, first of all, I want to be clear that this committee and the General Assembly has not ever in the last 2 years voted to send applications for absentee ballots. This committee has never acted on a piece of legislation that actually mailed any applications for absentee ballots. So I don't contemplate that being a part of any legislation we authorize this year. I will say that I don't know whether the language you're referring to in a previous year's bill is going to be the language that comes into this bill. What I'm telling you is that this concept, if raised, we hope will be the conversation point for looking at the absentee ballot laws this year in terms of accessibility and ease of voters being able to exercise their franchise via an absentee ballot.
Right.
I don't mean to be evasive. And as soon as I know the answer to that question, Senator, I will be happy to tell you whether it's 6205 or something else.
I appreciate that very much, Madam Chairman. And please understand the purpose of my questioning is simply because I believe that there may be significant interest from the public in participating in such a discussion. And what concerns me is the fact that we are going to vote up or down today on raising a concept which will ultimately turn into a public hearing without the public having advanced knowledge of what that hearing might entail. And that's kind of my concern is I'd like to get it out on the table, what we're going to be debating so that the public, when they arrive for a public hearing or you make a decision to participate, they do it based on that instance. And I agree with you. I know we have not authorized mass mailing. That is something that is within our law and the prerogative of almost anyone in the state political party activists, the Secretary of State can do so, but it is contingent upon the eligibility of the recipients of those ballot applications, which we have debated in this committee and in the House and Senate. And that's my concern about this bill is that I think we have no excuse absentee voting in the pipeline. That bill 6205, if it ends up being the language that's before us, is essentially revisiting no excuse absentee voting in a very indirect and I think a deceptive way. And I don't see a purpose in it. In fact, I find it disgraceful. And that's why I'm anxious to debate that issue. But I understand that this may not be the place or time. But I am concerned that we are voting on concepts that we do not have any real meat to, that we don't really understand what the concept before us is other than absentee voting. There are plenty of aspects of absentee voting that I am in favor of and plenty that I'm opposed to. And to just say this is a vote about absentee voting is it's not satisfactory. I don't think it's sufficient to have a concept that is so vague, Madam Chairman. So please accept my comments. I don't mean to be disrespectful about it, but I'm going to ask for a roll call vote on this because I do believe that this is the vehicle to redefine the constitutional definition of illness. And I want to be on record voting against that. I know there are a few other items that reference elections later on this agenda. I'm hopeful that when we get to them, maybe there's a little more information about what those bills are. The subject of elections is a very contentious one. I'm saddened that a significant, maybe even a majority of citizens across this country are losing faith in the quality of our election process. The last couple of years, I have been very disappointed that we ended up having partisan votes on the election process. To me, that's something that should never happen. We can disagree about a lot of political issues, but the process by which we are voted into office should be something that is done with such great care that everyone agrees to the terms. And to me, partisan votes are a sign that there are things happening that are not beneficial to everyone across the political spectrum. So with that, I won't elaborate anymore. I've gone on enough. But thank you very much, Madam Chair. Again, I'd like a roll call vote on this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And Senator, I will just say in response a few things. First of all, I would like nothing more for us to be able to find consensus on our election laws. I think it's critical to make sure everyone has faith in the operation of our democracy, no matter where you fall on the political spectrum. And I just want to reiterate that this is the beginning of the process. In order to have language on a bill, we have to raise a concept. And so as soon as there is language, rest assured, Senator, you will have access to that information and the public will have access to that. We don't have a public hearing in the Connecticut General Assembly on any piece of legislation that hasn't been fully drafted by the attorneys in the Legislative Commissioner's office. And that is out there for public consumption for at least 5 days before the public hearing. And so while I understand that people might want to be able to read a piece of language right now, that language will be available very soon. And the public will have the opportunity to fully digest it before potentially participating in a public hearing in the weeks to come. So with that, is there any other discussion on this item number 3, this concept to be raised? Representative Master Francesco, is that you raising your hand? I thought you were just saying I had great comments and that you totally agreed.
I apologize, Madam Chair. I'm having a problem with my my laptop today, my iPad, and I'm not in a good area where I've got a good reception, so I may break up a little bit. But I just wanted to just make a couple comments on this. I obviously concur with Senator Sampson. We had a real robust debate in the last session on absentee ballots, and even during public hearing, a lot was discussed. We do have a resolution that was passed last time. I understand you want to bring up a concept to talk other issues, but I always struggle with concepts because we've had plenty of time to put language together. We were off for how many months? 8 or 9 months. So there always is time to put those concepts, to put the language together, so we always know what we're voting on. Since we passed a resolution last year, started the process of making a constitutional change, I certainly could not support this. I think there's a lot of issues with absentee ballots, and I'm sure we'll have another robust debate this year in committee and and also if it comes to the floor. But I would again, yes, ask for a roll call vote on this one. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any further comments? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on raising the concept number 3, an act concerning absentee ballot voting?
Wexler,
Yes.
Fox,
Senator Fox votes yes.
one more time, Representative, please.
Representative Fox votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. Haskell,
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Thomas,
Representative Thomas votes yes.
Sampson,
Senator Sampson votes no.
Mastro Francesco,
Representative Mastro Francesco votes no.
Blumenthal,
Representative Blumenthal votes yes.
Carpino,
Representative Carpino votes yes.
Fishbein, France,
Representative France votes yes.
Haddad,
Representative Haddad votes. Representative Haddad votes yes.
Labriola,
Representative Labriola votes no.
McCarthy Vehy,
Representative McCarthy Vehy votes yes.
McCrory,
Senator McCrory votes yes.
Morin-Bello,
Representative Morin-Bello votes yes.
Palm,
Representative Palm votes yes.
Rosario,
Rosario votes yes.
Santiago,
Santiago votes yes.
Slack,
Senator Slatt votes yes.
all set, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And Madam Clerk, just for clarity, I forgot the protocols and I forgot to say Senator Flexer votes yes. I forgot to identify myself by name. I apologize for that
Thank
on
you.
that last item. Okay. And just for all members of the committee, it does seem like most members are here, but Madam Clerk and ranking members, if it's okay with you, we'll hold the votes open until 3 o'clock. Is that okay with you, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. Moving on, item number 4. Item number 4, an act concerning revisions to the Freedom of Information Act. This item and the next item are 2 proposals that come to us from the Freedom of Information Commission. I would entertain a motion to raise item number 4.
So moved.
Motion
Second,
has been made
Santiago.
by Representative Thomas, seconded by Representative Fox to raise item number 4. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of raising item number 4, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Item number 5, the chair would entertain a motion to raise the concept in item number 5, an act concerning freedom of information. Is there a motion?
So moved. Moran Bello.
Seconded.
Motion is made by Representative Moran Bello, seconded by Representative Blumenthal. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, moving on. Item number 6, an act concerning the Contracting Standards Board. This concept comes to us from advocates for the Contracting Standards Board and members of the Contracting Standards Board. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion,
Madam Chair,
yes.
may I make a motion?
Yeah, oh, I forgot. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I will take a motion from Representative McCarthy Vahey to raise item number 6. Is there a second?
Second.
Moran Bello.
Seconded by Representative Thomas. Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of raising item number 6, please signify by saying aye.
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 And all those opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Item number 7, an act concerning government administration. The chair would entertain a motion to raise item number 7.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Representative Fox, seconded by Representative Thomas. Is there any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Sampson, this comes to us from GAS, if that's helpful. Go ahead, Senator.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairman. I was just going to ask if we have any idea what this bill is at all, other than it comes to us from DAS.
I believe it has to do with some changing standards for the procurement process.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll support it today. I'll just reiterate, hopefully our future concepts going forward, that we have an idea what we're voting on. I just want to repeat that I don't see any purpose on voting on concepts at all, to be honest with you, unless we have an idea what the concept is. An act concerning government administration is not something to be voted on. That means nothing to anyone. It has to be something worthwhile as far as generating opposition or affirmation based on the content. And I understand that this is the process that we become accustomed to. It frustrates me because I don't see any purpose. Would you like lunch? Is the kind of question we're getting without any real understanding of what lunch might be, because that might generate an actual debate. But with that, Madam Chairman, I understand that these are agency bills that have come to us. I'm not trying to make your life difficult. I just would like to see us actually voting on, if we're going to actually take the time to cast a vote, we should be actually casting a vote on something that matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And in response, Senator, I can appreciate your frustration with the process. I would just say that this is the process. This is the process that every committee undertakes, and perhaps in the next legislature there could be a different process set up, but the way to get language out to not just members of this committee but to everyone in the public is for this committee to take the action of raising a bill and having it drafted and moved forward for discussion. So I am hopeful that as the wonderful attorneys and staff in the Legislative Commissioner's Office do their work to put language to these proposals, folks can have some confidence in fully understanding what they are before they go to the next step of having the public hearing. Senator Sampson.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I don't want to belabor the point, but obviously if there is a concept on this agenda for DAS, because they want to discuss government administration, they know exactly what they're asking for. And we deserve to know. To simply say that we're going to have a vote up or down on whether we have a conversation about an act concerning government administration is not always been the process. It used to be that these concepts actually meant something and it were not simply placeholders for future language. There is a purpose to having a legislative body and a committee process that involves public input, which has been limited in recent years, and the ability for the committee members to have knowledge of what is being discussed. And I believe that is being slowly but surely eroded to the point where we're casting votes on things we have no knowledge of. If an act concerning government administration is to do away with the GAE committee, which it could just as well be based on a concept with that title, or to make a minor change to a DAS statute, are two entirely different votes. And to put members in the position of voting on something without any real indication of what it is inappropriate. And again, I get it, but you are the chair of this committee, and I'm trying to let you know how, as a ranking member, being put in the position of having to advise my colleagues on, whether or not we want these things to go forward. That's a very difficult thing to do if I don't know what they are. And I would love to see more cooperation in making sure that when we raise a concept, that the committee members know the concept deals with a specific topic, and we have an indication of what we will eventually be drafting a bill on. Because I presume once this concept is voted out of this committee today, the LCO attorneys will be given information and instructions on how to draft a bill. Well, that information deserves to be in front of all of the committee members today and not just behind the scenes, since we are the ones casting a vote right here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator. And at the risk of belaboring the point, and I want to be respectful of the time of the members of this committee, I would just say that this, again, I think we're just debating a difference in how this process works. And I am attempting to appreciate your frustration with this process, but the way for the information to get out there to the public is for this committee to take an affirmative action. I've had the great pleasure of serving in the legislature for a substantial period of time. And it used to be that raising a concept was an agreement that it was the first step in a conversation. And that has become less and less so in this committee and in other committees. And every member who's elected to the legislature certainly has a right as to whether or not they want to be recorded and voting in favor of having a conversation about something moving forward. So we'll go forward with that process today. But these votes today are about opening up that information and making sure that the public can see a fully drafted bill and debate that bill with this committee in a public hearing. Is there any other discussion on item number 7? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of raising the concept in item number 7, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you. Item number 8, an act expanding eligibility for absentee voting and extending through November 8th, 2022. Several changes regarding election administration as a result of COVID-19. This item comes to us from the Secretary of State's office. Is there a motion to raise this concept?
So moved. Second.
Second.
Motion has been made by Representative Blumenthal, seconded by Representative Thomas. Is there any discussion on item number 8? Representative Mastro Francesco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I believe this is an extension of what we did last time. As you can see, I am under the impression, and I'm sure most of the public in Connecticut, that there was no more emergency when it comes to COVID. We just saw a Super Bowl game, people voting in the thousands of people there had their no masks on. People went through the municipal elections with no problem voting. I understand this is just a concept to be raised, but this one, at least it clearly states what it is. So I appreciate that. So I would oppose this particular one, Madam Chair, and I would ask that when you do that, you do a roll call vote. And I'm sure we'll be debating this further when the language is put together and we're debating it during committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Senator Sampson.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I will concur with Representative Mastro Francesco that I'm at least appreciative that we have a concept before us that says something other than an act concerning elections. Although even this one does not really tell us what's going on. But I also agree with her that if this is intended to expand the absentee voting process as a result of COVID, as occurred in 2020, I would also be opposed. That was one of the worst run elections in the history of this country, in my opinion. And there are people still arguing over the results nationally. I don't know that we had the same types of problems that occurred in other states, but we definitely had our own types of problems. And just if you'll recollect, there were thousands and thousands of absentee ballot applications mailed at great expense to taxpayers, millions and millions of dollars to people on the voter rolls in our state. And hundreds of thousands of those ballot applications were actually returned in the mail, indicating just how poorly conceived our voter rolls are. We had people putting ballots in drop boxes after election day, thinking that their votes would count, and they did not. There were as many people who did not receive their ballot application in the mail who should have got one as people that got a stack of them for the previous residents or people that had passed on from their family and things like that. That election cannot be allowed to, or that process cannot be allowed to happen again. I'm very much in favor of expanding no excuse absentee voting. I would support no excuse absentee voting. I've made that clear in this committee numerous times, as long as we put the proper protections in place, which we do not have. Other states across this country have a process. They verify that the person voting by absentee is that person. They have some sort of signature verification or a barcode or some identifying measure that was completely ignored in the 2020 election in Connecticut. And I would also concur with Representative Mastro Francesco that there's no need for this. The idea that somehow we are still in a system by which we need to mass mail absentee ballot applications out at the expense to taxpayers is just not true. I believe that people are smart enough and can contact their local town clerk or go online and request an absentee ballot application very easily. And to me, that should be the process. We should make it as easy as possible to vote, but that is not the same thing as opening up the doors to what I consider to be chaos, sending out willy-nilly thousands and thousands of ballot applications to addresses that are no longer valid or accurate, and to thousands of people who no longer are eligible voters in Connecticut. We can't do this, Madam Chairman. And I'm going to make that argument in a much more forceful way when the time comes in our committee meeting. And I hope that the people of Connecticut are paying attention, because I know that if they were as aware as I am about what's happening, there is no way they would allow this to be voted on and become law in the state of Connecticut. And I also believe that there would be a political price for pushing such legislation if people truly know just how problematic such a policy is. I'd like a roll call vote on this item, and I'd like to make it very clear that I am an absolute no until we fix our system so that we can maintain the integrity of elections and have the trust of every person, regardless of their background or political party, that our elections are legitimate. We should not go forward with legislation. That is our number one responsibility on this committee, to make sure that people trust our election process. I don't trust our election process. I don't believe that the election in 2020 was accurate. I'm not saying that the president was not duly elected, but there were problems, and they are documented problems. There are dozens of complaints filed with the State Election Enforcement Commission and the Secretary of the State. There are newspaper articles galore about individual cases of fraud. No one knows how widespread that is, and that's the problem. People need to know that their ballot counts. And when we diminish the value of one person's ballot by having an election where there are these types of problems, or where people's votes are not counted because they think that they're still eligible even the day after election by putting it in a drop box, you've just created an election that I don't think the voters can trust. Thank you very much for indulging me in saying a couple of comments here on this concept. But I just wanted to be on the record up front that we need to move with caution. We need to proceed as if we care about the integrity of elections as much as we care about expanding their access. I will vote every time in favor of making it easier for people to vote as long as we are protecting the value of every vote. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. I will just say that this committee operates in an effort to make sure everyone can have the highest expectations of integrity of our elections and the most accessible elections process so that everyone in Connecticut can exercise their right to vote. In the last couple of years and in 2020, in the election that my colleagues have just commented on, had some of the highest turnout and participation of voters in our state and in our country that we've ever seen before. I personally think that's a good thing and what this committee should be striving towards. I would just say that allegations that anyone has to make about a concern with the participation in our election process, that they do so, that they file a complaint with the State Elections Enforcement Commission. There have been many allegations made in this committee over the last year, and those things have been those that have been referred to the State Elections Enforcement Commission, every single one of them was found to be without merit. But I would encourage anyone who has a legitimate complaint to send it to the State Elections Enforcement Commission. They will do their due diligence and a thorough investigation so that everyone in our state can have confidence in our elections. And I would just finally say that going to the Super Bowl is a choice. Participating in our democracy is our duty as a citizen, and it is not the same decision-making process whether or not you choose to go to a large event and endanger yourself and your family to exposure to COVID-19 as it is showing up in a polling place. With that, is there any other discussion on item number 8 and whether or not this committee will raise this concept? Seeing none,
Madam Chairman.
Madam Clerk, will you?
Madam
Yes,
Chair.
I'm sorry,
Rep-
Senator Sampson.
Representative Fishbein has his hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Representative Fishbein, it's hard to see your hand with your background.
Yes, can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I wasn't going to say anything, but you, in your comments, stated by way of fact that all complaints of misvoting have been found to be not true. Did I hear you correctly?
The allegations, the State Elections Enforcement Commission has conducted many investigations over the course of the last 2 years. And it's my understanding that the report that they've shared publicly is that they haven't found a substantiated allegation of misvoting by use of absentee ballot over the course of the last 2 years.
Okay, so you would agree that prior to the last 2 years, there have been instances where people have complained about voting not happening properly, and that many of those complaints have been substantiated. Is that correct? My takeaway was that all complaints have been, now you're saying within the last 2 years, and I'm just trying to get a proper record here.
Representative, we're debating a proposal. We're not debating a proposal. We are raising a concept to debate a proposal to extend the absentee ballot provisions that have been in place during the pandemic. And so the comments that I made with regard to investigations by the State Elections Enforcement Commission was in the context of the period of the pandemic and the absentee ballot provisions that have been in place intermittently over the course of the last 2 years.
Okay, and I would just offer that, one has to make a complaint in order for one to be investigated, that there have been instances where people have been accused of and have been found prior to the pandemic to have voted improperly, voted in more than one place, and that lack of assurances that our elections are conducted on a fair basis is very troubling to me. You know, certainly if I was to vote for Governor Lamont in the next election and somebody else was to vote illegally against Governor Lamont, that would cancel out my legal vote. And that we should be looking to prevent. And I fully support, you know, signature verification and some sort of ID as being able to vote. We certainly have businesses that require, you know, you can't rent a car today without showing this is your ID, right? There's certain things you can't do without showing IDs, and voting is very important. And I think that those protections, this committee should be seeking to have those protections to assure that all of our votes legally cast count. So thank you. And I do also intend to vote against this initiative.
Thank you. Are there any other comments of Representative Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may just, I think, want to reiterate what we're doing today, and I appreciate the comments from all the members of the committee here. And as we kind of getting more into debating the actual issue as opposed to concepts, I think what we're doing today, we're trying to raise concepts in order to allow this committee to have these debates at a future time. Well, I appreciate the comments of all members and then the opposition of some members to these concepts. I think it's so important that we raise the concepts today and have these debates at a later time, so that will allow us to do so. So I think in order to move forward today, it'd be appropriate if we are to vote on the concepts, admitting that they're just concepts, whether or not we vote for the concept or not vote for the underlying issue, just move forward in that manner. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative. Are there any other comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on item number 8?
Flexer.
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Fox.
Representative Fox votes yes.
Haskell.
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Thomas.
Representative Thomas votes yes.
Sampson.
Senator Sampson votes no.
Master Francesco. Representative Master Francesco. Blumenthal.
Representative Blumenthal votes yes.
Carpino.
Representative Carpino votes yes. I'm sorry, Valentina. Representative Master Francesco votes no. I'm sorry, I was losing connection.
It's the camera is still not pinning out. Can you say it one more time, please, Representative?
I'm sorry, can you hear me? Representative Master Francesco votes no.
Okay, there you go. Okay, got it. Thank you. Fishbein.
Sorry, hold on. Okay. Representative Fishbein votes no.
France. Representative France. Haddad.
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Labriola.
Representative Labriola votes no.
McCarthy Vehi.
Representative McCarthy Vehi votes yes.
McCrory.
Senator McCrory votes yes.
Morin Bello.
Representative Morin Bello votes yes.
Palm.
Representative Palm votes yes.
Rosario.
Representative Rosario votes yes.
Santiago.
Santiago votes yes.
Slap.
Slap votes yes.
One more time, Senator, please.
Senator Slap votes yes.
Thank you. Representative France. All set, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And as a reminder, we will be in recess for this meeting with votes held open until 3 p.m. Next, items number 9, 10, and 11 come to us from the Office of State Ethics. Item number 9 is an act concerning conflicts of interest due to an employer other than the state under the State Code of Ethics. The chair would entertain a motion to raise concept number 9.
Santiago, so moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Representative Santiago, seconded, I missed the second.
Rep.
Representative
Thomas.
Representative Thomas, seconded by Representative Thomas. Is there any discussion on item number 9? Seeing none, all those in favor of raising item number 9, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Thank you. Item number 10, an act concerning recovery of attorney's fees under the State Code of Ethics. Is there a motion to raise item number 10?
So moved, Santiago.
Motion has been made by Representative Santiago. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative Fox. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of raising item number 10, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Item number 11, an act concerning ethics. The chair would entertain a motion to raise item number 11. Is there a motion?
So moved, Santiago.
Motion has been made by Representative Santiago and seconded by Representative Thomas. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Oh. All those opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Item number 12. Item number 12 and 13 and 14 come to us from the State Elections Enforcement Commission. The chair would entertain a motion, and 15, 12, 13, 14, and 15. The chair would entertain a motion to raise item number 12, an act concerning campaign consultants and disclosure.
So moved.
Second by Santiago.
Motion has been raised by Representative Thomas, seconded by Representative Santiago. Is there discussion? Representative Mastro Francesco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I don't know if this is the right time, but we're on number 12. Items number 12 through 24, we'd be okay if you want to put them on a consent calendar or if you want to just go through them all individually. But we're fine with the consent if that's what needed.
That would be excellent. So Representative, is that a motion?
That's a motion, Madam Chair.
Seconded.
Motion has been made by Representative Mastro Francesco to add items 12 through 24 to a consent calendar, and seconded by Representative Thomas. Is there any discussion on a consent calendar raising items 12 through 24? Or let me just check in with LCO. Would it be better if perhaps Representative Mastro Francesco's motion was to just raise those 12 items, or is the consent calendar the best way to do it?
Yeah, agreed. If you want to amend the motion to simply raise items 12 through 24, that'll be fine.
Okay. Representative Mastro Francesco, are you amenable to that motion?
Yes, that's fine, Madam Chair. I make that motion.
Okay, thank you. So the motion before the committee is to raise the concepts in items 12 through 24.
Second by Santiago.
Oh, I think it was already seconded by Representative Thomas.
Okay.
Representative Thomas is okay with that. But thank you,
Yes.
Representative Santiago. Is there any discussion on raising items 12 through 24? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of raising items 12 through 24, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. Our meeting will be in recess until 3 p.m. and we will also meet again on Friday, and we will get the details to you as quickly as possible. Hopeful around the midday timing, but we'll let you know the time as soon as we can. Thank you all very much. The committee now stands in recess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Valentina, I need to vote on the other, I think, 1 through 6, I believe.
Oh, I didn't know I was muted. You only missed one vote on concept number 3.
Oh, okay, yes, that's right, because the other ones are by voice vote. Yes, no problem. And I, wait, let me just make sure I am on. Yes, with regard to item number 3, Representative Fishbein votes no.
Then you are all set, Representative.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your week.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Representative. If you muted still?
There we go. Yep, there we go.
There
How's
you
that?
go. So you just missed one vote, concept number 8. Would you like me to read the concept title or?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sure. An act as expanding eligibility for absentee voting and extending through November 8, 2022, several changes regarding election administration as a result of COVID-19.
Vote no.
And you voted on the other roll call, but let me just confirm. Yes, you did. The rest were voice votes, so you're all set, Representative.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.